Good evening, and I welcome all to this special discussion titled The Leadership of Honorable Prime Minister and Sheikh Hasina and Bangladesh's March Forward, organized by the International Affairs Subcommittee of Bangladesh Awami League. Today, we will be hearing from Ambassador Mohammad Zamir, the Chairman of the International Affairs Subcommittee of Bangladesh Awami League and former ambassador. We'll also be hearing from the Honorable Foreign Minister of Bangladesh, Dr. K Abdul Momen MP. We will be hearing from the Honorable State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Mohammad Shahriar Alam MP. And of course, we will be joined and we will be listening to Dr. Shammi Ahmed, the International Affairs Secretary of Bangladesh Awami League. We have with us diplomats and representatives of various countries joining this virtual discussion today. As you all know, we have celebrated or marked, to be more specific, the 74th birthday of the President of Bangladesh Awami League, the Honorable Prime Minister of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, and the daughter of the father of the nation, Sheikh Hasina, on the 28th of September this year. Her leadership has been transformational, to say the least, for Bangladesh, and it is, we feel, a topic worth discussing in details. So without any further delays, for her opening remarks, I would like to invite Dr. Shammi Ahmed, the International Affairs Secretary of Bangladesh Awami League. Dr. Shammi Ahmed.
Excellencies, honorable dignitaries, fellow colleagues, and those watching us via social media, a very good evening to you. On behalf of the International Affairs Subcommittee of Bangladesh Awami League, I welcome you all to this special webinar where we discuss the role of Awami League President and Honorable Prime Minister of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Shekasena MP. Dear friends, as you know, we celebrated our leader's 74th birthday a few days ago on 28th September 2020. In the last 11 and a half years, as the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina has put development at the center of our politics. From record economic growth to well-pronounced social and human development in the last 11 years, Bangladesh has become a success story in the developing world. In the international arena, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has lent her credible and strong voice to such crucial issues as women empowerment, ICT for development, migration, terrorism and violent extremism, climate change, and sustainable development. Her humanitarian role in sheltering around a million forcibly displaced Rohingyas from Myanmar has earned her well-deserved international praise. On the political front, Sheikh Hasina has become a leader for the ages. Following the assassination of her father and almost entire family on the dark night of 15th August of 1975, she was forced to remain outside the country for 6 years. When she took hold of the party president in 1981, a very long and uphill battle waited for her in the preceding years. Throughout the 80s, she successfully led the anti-autocratic movement, culminating in the restoration of democracy. In her 2 tenures as leader of the opposition from 1991 to 1996, and then from 2001 to 2006, Sheikh Hasina left her mark as a political leader who always stood up for progressive causes and people rights. She also had to pay a triple price for her politics. 19 attempts have been made so far on her life, most notorious among which was the 21st August 2004 grenade attack on an Awami League rally killed 24 and injured hundreds of others. Dear friends, one of our party's principal pledges in our last election manifesto was to ensure good governance through a declared policy of zero tolerance towards corruption. In the last few years, we have seen many instances of high-profile corruption being given the strictest treatment under law. During the coronavirus pandemic, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has led Bangladesh's fight from the front. From revamping the health sector to looking after the economy, from carrying out a major humanitarian relief effort to focusing on each sector's needed, Sheikh Hasina's bold and intuitive leadership has protected Bangladesh from a political, human, and economic disaster. I would not make my speech any more longer. As we want to hear from all today, I would like to end by seeking prayers and wishes for our leaders' long life and good health. Thank you all once again for joining us today. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu, Joy Shekasena, long live Bangladesh.
Thank you, Dr. Shammi Ahmed, the International Affairs Secretary of Bangladesh Awami League. She has very rightly pointed out that over the course of her 11 and a half years as the Prime Minister of Bangladesh consecutively over the years, as well as in her first term as the Prime Minister of Bangladesh between 1996 and 2001, Sheikh Hasina has been able to put development at the center of the politics of Bangladesh. It is the theme on which we made a video which was launched and shown through social media and electronic media on her birthday. For our guests who have joined us today and for those watching us online, we are playing that video now. It is titled, "The Leader We Needed." I would ask my colleague Tonmoy to play that video now.
সাউন্ড শুনতে পাচ্ছি না আমরা ভিডিওটার।
Center of this development lies the politics of development of President and Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina.
তন্ময় ভিডিওর সাউন্ড নাই, ঠিক নাই। ফরহাদ ভিডিওর সাউন্ড নাই।
হ্যাঁ, আমরা দেখতেছি আপনারা।
এই সাউন্ডটা ঠিক করে শুরু থেকে দাও।
হ্যাঁ, দাও হচ্ছে আপা, দাও হচ্ছে।
More than $11 billion. Between 2010 and 2020, the per capita income of Bangladesh has increased from $759 to more than $2,000. Bangladesh was once a food-deficient country. The country is now self-sufficient when it comes to producing its own food grains, despite its decreasing land resources and huge population. Within a decade, food grain production has been increased from 27.2 million metric tons to 40 million metric tons. Bangladesh, third in rice production, third in inland fish production, third in vegetable production. As a result of Sheikh Hasina's progressive policies, Bangladesh now leads South Asia in women's economic, political, and social empowerment. Bangladesh in WEF Gender Gap Report, 2006, 91st in the world, 2019, 50th in the world. With a focus on education for all, Sheikh Hasina has invested heavily in education and thereby achieved tremendous feats in educating the people. Her initiatives like stipends, scholarships, free books, free midday meals, and multimedia classrooms has vastly improved Bangladesh's standing in all major educational indicators like increasing primary school enrollment rate, cutting down dropout rates, ensuring gender parity, and so on. Digital Bangladesh was Sheikh Hasina's pledge to the nation in 2008. Within 12 years, that pledge has been successfully implemented. Digitization has transformed people's lives and livelihoods, commerce, social and public services. Electricity for all was another political commitment of Sheikh Hasina. Within the last 10 years, 97% of the population has been brought under electricity coverage. Apart from traditional energy sources, Bangladesh has also prioritized the development and usage of renewable energy sources like solar power. On the international stage, Sheikh Hasina has been a trusted voice on issues such as terrorism and violent extremism, women empowerment, climate change, migration, international and regional peace, knowledge and technology transfer. Her work in sheltering 1 million forcibly displaced Rohingyas from Myanmar in Bangladesh has also brought her global acclaim. In 2019, the Foreign Policy magazine listed her as one of the top global thinkers for her work with the Rohingyas. Currently, Sheikh Hasina is leading Bangladesh's fight against the coronavirus pandemic from the front. From revamping the healthcare system to carrying out one of the largest humanitarian relief operations of the country, Sheikh Hasina has shown the requirements of a leader in a tough situation. She has so far announced 19 stimulus packages worth more than $12 billion to offset the adverse impact of the pandemic on the economy. After the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, no other politician in Bangladesh has had a bigger impact on the country's fortune than Sheikh Hasina. She has dealt with the domestic and global challenges with an iron will and steadfast determination. Unsurprisingly, she commands over 70% average approval rating in all major international polls. She is also featured annually by Forbes magazine as one of the most powerful women in the world. By putting Bangladesh on a forward development trajectory and by instilling a sense of national pride among the citizens, Sheikh Hasina has proved her leadership both as a statesman and as a politician. Having survived the gruesome assassination of almost her entire family in August 1975, and at least 19 attempts on her own life since then, Sheikh Hasina has devoted her life to serving the people of Bangladesh. She is definitely the leader we needed. Today is her 74th birthday. We wish her a very happy birthday.
Excellencies, dear colleagues, and those watching on social media, we apologize for the initial glitch with the audio of the video that we played. This video is available in our social media outlets. You can see the official page of Bangladesh Awami League and the YouTube channel of Bangladesh Awami League. For the video, you are welcome to download it and use it in any way you deem fit. This has been made public for wider dissemination. The theme of the video was, as I said, the putting of the politics of development at the center of Bangladesh by Sheikh Hasina. Today we see a Sheikh Hasina who is so much confident, so much trusted throughout the country for her demonstrated leadership skills. But the journey has not been an easy one for the Prime Minister of Bangladesh and the daughter of the father of the nation. And we wanted to we highlight the struggles that she faced throughout her very illustrious political career, which has seen many ups and downs, and also severe tragedies being faced in her own family. This is the theme that we wanted to portray in a booklet that we have prepared from the International Affairs Subcommittee of Bangladesh Awami League. This booklet has been titled Sheikh Hasina Portraits in Courage. It is an exclusively, it is being shown in this program for the first time. I will just give you a brief overview of the publication. The printed copies will be sent to your offices and embassies, and the electronic version will be available after the program in our website and also in social media. So basically, we started from her early life, and we wanted to show that her political initiation was actually as the daughter of the father of the nation. As a daughter, how she observed her father's leadership capabilities, as well as her own mother's support for her father's very long struggle for the independence of Bangladesh. And in the second part, we tried to highlight the life that she faced for around 6 years after the events of 15th August 1975, when she was forced not to enter Bangladesh. At that time, as you might know, she was in Belgium. From there, she went to Germany and then to India, and she wasn't allowed to come back home. And even while abroad, she and her sister, younger sister, Sheikh Rehana, the only two survivors of the 15th August 1975 massacre, were under threat. There were credible threats against their lives as well. So the killers were not content with wiping out their family. They wanted to wipe out the two sisters as well. Despite such threats, very credible and real threats to her own life and that of her sisters, she did come back to Bangladesh in 1981. And from 1981, the third part of our book actually highlights how she spearheaded the movement for democracy, and which culminated in the first democratically held and internationally recognized elections in 1991. As the leader of the opposition in that parliament, she played a very important role for consolidating democracy in Bangladesh. After that, from 1996, she took charge as for the first time as the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. All throughout those stages of her life, it was never easy. She was always facing a lot of obstacles, both from internally and externally, but she faced those, and we wanted to highlight the difficult journey that she had to make in order to become the Sheikh Hasina that we know and see today. So you are very much welcome to use the online version, the electronic version of our book from the website and from social media. As I said earlier, we will be sending out the printed versions of the booklet to your offices and the embassies, respectively, very soon. Thank you very much. That is all as by way of a summary of our booklet, and we hope that you read it and find it helpful. and find as much interest in reading it as much as we did preparing it. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. Without any more delay, I would now like to invite the Honorable State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Mohammad Shahriar Alam MP, for his remarks on Sheikh Hasina's leadership and the transformation of Bangladesh. Mohammad Shahriar Alam MP.
Thank you, Farhad. Ambassador Mohammad Zamir, Honorable Chairman of International Affairs Subcommittee of Bangladesh Awami League. Today's chief guest, Honorable Foreign Minister, Dr. K Abdul Momen MP. We have among us who has actually organized today's program, Dr. Shammi Ahmed, Honorable Secretary of International Affairs Committee of Bangladesh Awami League. We distinguished guests here. I'm truly encouraged and humbled watching so many high commissioners and ambassadors joined this rather unusual program where we get to see each other. At the outset, I'd like to say that I do not consider myself qualified enough to talk about the leadership of Sheikh Hasina, such a towering figure, such a champion, who has struggled throughout her life. Just 2 or 3 things very briefly. I'm sure by now, probably all of you, or most of you, have watched the Daughter's Tale, Hasina, a Daughter's Tale. That if you don't know much about Sheikh Hasina, just please spend that an hour or so, or about 70 minutes docu drama, as they call it, and that also hardly captures I would say 10% of struggle that she has been through in her life. But that will give you some idea, that Sheikh Hasina didn't become just a prime minister, in one fine morning or out of blue. We know the sacrifice of the entire family. About Bangabandhu by now. We know, even though we represent a different generation. But the way I would like to kind of put it is, Sheikh Hasina, age-wise, biologically, is as old as United Nations is. We just concluded the 75th General Assembly session. And, I represent a generation, if I at all represent in that sense, is I'm as old as Bangladesh is. I was born in 1970. And throughout our childhood, we used to queue up in the schools to take relief from the countries that some of you represent used to send us. Not in great numbers, obviously, if you want to dig deep in the history of Bangladesh, that we have suffered in early 70s, immediately after the War of Liberation. We see things and we do things, and the present generation, my son goes to university, pursuing his last year before the graduation. They take a lot of things for granted, but we have seen, and obviously we have, seniors, veteran like Ambassador Zamir, or Honorable Foreign Minister Dr. Momen. They have seen even more difficult days in our lives, or well before the independence. Now, as a Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, I attended 3 very crucial, with all the other things that we do bilaterally, and we troubleshoot, we open up new avenues, we try and hold these FOCs and bring businesses, try and balance the import and export between our countries bilaterally. But I attended 3 very crucial major events in Geneva at Human Rights Council. And this was, the first one was on International Covenant on Economic, Cultural and Social Rights, ICSCR. The second one was the Universal Periodic Review. once in every 4 years, you were supposed to kind of present a report and, face questions and challenges. And then the last one that we did at the fag end of last year in 2019 was Convention Against Torture. Now, this is the first time Bangladesh actually presented a country report, and then obviously we attended the session on Convention Against Torture. Now, after attending these three in a span of a year and a half, I asked my senior colleagues, or people who served, I see Ambassador Hanan joined in here today, I asked that generation of them that, when did you all sign it? Because as a diplomat, as a minister, or as, our foreign secretary is not, he's a government servant, bureaucrat, so he's not here. But I asked the obvious question that, when Bangladesh committed to all these conventions? Because I know that in South Asia, Bangladesh has ratified the highest number of human rights conventions, 8 out of 9. And, that's by far the highest number. So when I asked, when we actually signed this, it was between 1996 and 2001. That was the first government of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. What I'm trying to get at is when she came back, a lady with 2 very young kids in her early 30s, with full of uncertainties and difficult terrain ahead of her, she chose to come back to Bangladesh in 1981, 17th of May. And it took her obviously 15 years to become the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. And the first thing that she did, along with so many other things that she started, she ratified 8 human rights conventions under the UN umbrella, and thought that we will gradually be implementing those, and those will be the guiding principle of our engagement, of our doing business, governing the country. Obviously, we don't do all the things right all the time, but that's okay. I'm sure you understand. All of you present here today, referring to our foreign guests here and colleagues and friends, is that we all have our own challenges and difficulties. But here we have a person like Sheikh Hasina, a woman prime minister, longest serving prime minister probably in the history of the world in a democracy, where the background of the country was that we were ruled by militaries, non-constitutional, and used to be ruled by a chief of army in different times, whether that be Ziaur Rahman or Irshad and someone else. Still, we are stepping into 50th year of our independence, and our democratic journey began in 1991. Obviously, the first 3.5 years, we were getting our constitutions in place. The first parliament came into being and all that. But that was a very difficult time. So after 1991, if you calculate the time actually we have spent, or we have seen democratic rule in this country, is actually still less than the time that military dictators ruled. So in such a short span of time, with so little in our deposits or in our credit, this is where you see Bangladesh today in front of you. We are grateful to all the supports that you have extended to our government at different times, through different projects, through a better bilateral relationship, trusting in Bangladesh. You have served in many countries in the world. You will be serving many countries in the world. But take examples of countries, and just before you actually compare, we must not forget that Bangladesh is the most populous country in the world. If that is not enough, Bangladesh is in the, as far as flood plains are concerned, Bangladesh is the most vulnerable flood plains of the world. the number of the length of our waterways is the highest in the world. If you add the length of the rivers that crisscrosses Bangladesh in different shape and form, and sometimes you have diplomats who ventured out of Dhaka, stepped out of Dhaka, or had an opportunity, or we'll be seeing that some of the river that you see, the first thing that you'll be asking yourself or the guy standing next to you is, why do you call it a river? It's a sea. Now, look at what's happening today. In where I am from, Rajshahi, we are experiencing, not my constituency, we are experiencing 5th round of flooding this year on top of COVID. Now it's still, so what I'm trying to say is it was never an easy country to run or manage or kind of, be the head of the government. The Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, whenever she went to visit a district or upojela or an union, she still remembers it. She can tell you exactly what are the issues, what are the development impediments, what are the steps needs to be taken. Now, I know many of you represent countries where kind of a prime minister comes and goes, president comes and goes, very frequent changes. Now, those are your domestic challenges if you are a citizen of that particular country. But, not just being part of the government, me personally for last 7 years, or member of parliament for last 11.5 years. But, I see my friends that I grew with or did business with or went to school or universities with, we simply do not have any person that anyone, whether even non-Awami League, this is a party platform. This is a party platform, not a government platform where we are today, who would go on and suggest that there is a better person who could do it better than Sheikh Hasina. So that's what her stature has become today. Now, it's obviously was not done and achieved, as I said today. It's a lot of hard work, dedication. And every single meeting for me of this generation or for anyone, meeting Sheikh Hasina is a fresh inspiration. You get new ideas. You get to love your country better, deeper. You come out of from the meeting or whenever you meet her or, you means us, I'm sure, I'm not sure how much you are influenced by meeting Sheikh Hasina, but we come back re-energized, we are prepared to do more for the country. A single word, a single speech, or, a brief session with Sheikh Hasina. So that's how, she manages to transmit the energy. I wish, we could have grasped as much as she transmits. Obviously, it's very difficult to match. Now, I would conclude by saying that I think Sheikh Hasina has raised the bar for any leadership in Bangladesh. She has raised the bar for any leadership in the world for countries of similar stature or condition. And obviously, she has raised the bar of people's expectation in general. And we'll be doing our best on the eve or kind of while we celebrate her 74th birthday. My personal commitment would be that we will be doing more and more in coming days to fulfill her dream and her father's dream. May God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mohammed Shahriar Alam MP, the Honorable State Minister for Foreign Affairs. Very less talked about point was mentioned by the Honorable State Minister, that being that it has inevitably always been under the governments of Sheikh Hasina that all the major human rights instruments have been signed by Bangladesh. It is rarely talked about, and I think it is a point that needs to be made more frequently. We will be going to our friends from the foreign missions, but before that, we have just one more speech left. And I would now request our guest of honor for today's webinar, Dr. K Abdul Momen MP, the Honorable Foreign Minister of the Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, for his remarks. Momen, sir.
Thank you, Farhad, Barrister Farhad. And also, I'd like to thank Dr. Shammi for inviting me to talk to you. And I'm so happy and delighted to see so many of my friends from all across. I see all my excellencies are here, and I'm very delighted to see you all. Today we are discussing a topic. I would tell why Sheikh Hasina is a successful leader. But before that, let me tell you what actually happened. So Sheikh Hasina returned home in 1981. At the time, basically there was no political activity. Prior to that, during that time, power was usurped by one general, General Zia. And there has been around 18 unsuccessful coups. Finally, there was one, and he lost his life. So the country was in a mess. People like us had to leave the country to stay abroad for because it was very uncertain. But Sheikh Hasina returned after that. His own political party, the Awami League, it was reorganized. It became a solid rock. And today, Awami League party is a very well-organized party. It's because of Sheikh Hasina's leadership. She brought stability, not only in the political parties, but also in the country. And since she brought political, the stability, and therefore it follows the growth and other things. She restored democracy in Bangladesh. For a long period of time, from 75 to 1991, there was no democracy. But it is Sheikh Hasina, through her movement for right to vote, right to food, right to clothes, she brought back, she restored democracy, multi-party democracy in the country. She also achieved, and this is remarkable, rule of law and good governance in the country. In 1975, as you know, when the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, was killed along with his entire family members, except 2 of his daughters. And fortunately, they are abroad at the time, and therefore they escaped. But rest of them were killed. And the government of the time, you see, declared indemnity to the killers, that no one, those killers cannot be judged in any court. No one can bring any case against those killers. But Sheikh Hasina's, after almost 21 years, in 1996, when she got the power, she changed that, black law, the indemnity law. And since then, no one is above the law. Now, those killers have been, some of them, they have been tried, and few are escaping, became, fugitive of justice. But she restored rule of law and good governance in the country. Now, no one is above law. Does not matter which party or which, groups that individual, the criminal is belong, is irrelevant. They have to go through the process of justice. She ended the terrorism and radicalism. The whole nation during these bad periods of 1975 to for a long period of time, there was radicalism. But after she came to power, she stopped radicalism and ended terrorism. If you remember, in only one day, in whole of Bangladesh, in 64 districts, there was 495 bomb blasts. Can you believe? Even on when she was speaking at a big rally against terrorism on 21st August 2004. That meeting was attacked, and attacked by individual, supported by government. Looks like the way the precision, the way the grenade was, thrown, so precise. Looks like these are, military precision, and no wonder the then government was involved in it. But her coming to power ended all those conspiracies and terrorism and radicalism. People in the country are very happy with the Sheikh Hasina's leadership, every rank and file. Prior to that, during her 1996 government rule, she did certain very wonderful things. One is she signed a Ganges Water Treaty with India. If you remember, The earlier government in 1977 took that case to the UN. And since then, India never talked to them. But when Sheikh Hasina came, because of her relationship with people, and she is so pragmatic, and therefore India came forward and she signed the Water Treaty Agreement in 1996. I thought this is a great achievement, because through dialogue and discussion, you can resolve issues. This is an example for a country like Bangladesh. That shows the maturity of her leadership. And at the same year, she also signed an agreement with the Chittagong Hill Track movement, where around 25,000 people were killed, in last many years. She stopped that killing and gave hope to the people. People in the country are happy because, let's say, business people are happy because they can do the job, their business easily. There is no more blockade, no more strike, and no more uncertainty. So business people and government is business friendly. Students are very happy because now they can complete their education on time. In addition, they get digital, the modern technology in the school. They get books on the first day of each year. You see, millions of books are distributed on the first day of each year. I have never seen such thing anywhere in planet Earth. So students are happy. They have a future. They know they have a future. The parents and the guardians are happy because these students are also being taught the things that they might need, like the computer and others. She has done it in every classes of the country. Then poor people are very happy. It's not only because they get allowances, at least they can get 2 bills a day. They have certain good earning. The people who are without education, the lower end, there is no unemployment. Unemployment is only among the educated graduates. But those who are day laborer, there is no unemployment. So these people are very happy. Poor people are happy. In addition, Sheikh Hasina has given government through social, varieties of programs, given, funding to the poor people. In addition, she is now in this Mujib Borsha, the 100th anniversary of Father of the Nation. She has taken a decision that she would provide houses to all the people of the country. Those who are without homes, all of them will be provided phase-wise. Then the women are very happy because of Sheikh Hasina's particular interest. I can give example. When I was working as a representative to the UN, we are recruiting mostly male, peacekeepers. Then one day, Prime Minister asked me that you have been recruiting all the male, peacekeepers. Is there any room for the female women? I said, of course we do. If they train them up, then we can push it and maybe we will be able to recruit, able to send our female, the police force or and she did. She said, I shall train them up. Don't worry. Just look for it so that they can. And now Bangladeshi female, the peacekeepers are working very diligently with honor and dignity. It's because of Sheikh Hasina. Because of Sheikh Hasina, our women are empowered. Our women are empowered. From 6%, their number in the workforce was only 6%. Now we are she has raised it to almost 40%. It's a miracle. And in the process, what is happening? That women is being utilized for the nation building efforts. And she believes by 2041, 50-50, men and women. It's not only, she also honored them, the women. She made them general. We never thought in our lifetime we will see a female general. She made them police officer, senior police officer. She made them judges. She made them ambassadors. Sheikh Hasina did it. Because, she has a goal. So female women are very happy. Not only that, Bangladesh is the possibly only country where electing a mother gets 6 months off from the job. Both spouse and the mother both gets time off, the pregnant lady. 6 months, can you believe, with pay, full pay. This is something unique, and it's possible because of Sheikh Hasina's leadership. Rural people are very happy. Most of our people are rural people, villagers. They're happy because now they have roads. I remember I used to go to my maternal grandfather's place. It used to take 28 hours by boat to go there. Now it takes 40 minutes to go. Can you believe it? 28 hours and now 40 minutes to go. Rural people are damn happy because their roads are all paved roads. And they're also happy because now they can see the electricity. They never thought of electricity in the rural Bangladesh. Now, because of Sheikh Hasina, she took a crash program to provide electricity, and it worked out very well. We are one of the largest also in terms of solar energy. The government officials are very happy because they are secure and their pay and wages have increased more than 100%. In 1 year, you never see this, this sort of increment for the government official. More than 100%, only in single year. So they're happy. She maintained a very balanced foreign policy. And therefore, you see, our position has improved. She believes in her father's doctrine, and which is our cardinal principle of foreign policy: friendship to all, malice to none. And she believes in non-alignment. She believes in neighborhood. She always supports all our neighbors. So in the process, we earn a good name all across the globe. She gave a hope for a better hope for Bangladesh, and reasonably so, because during her time, we achieved most of the MDG goals. She's a visionary. In 2008, in her election manifesto, she included all the MDGs in her election manifesto. She also included digital Bangladesh in her manifesto. As a result, we put more efforts in the MDG. No wonder we reduce poverty, which is a curse. Poverty almost half. Now it's around 20%. From 42% within short time, she reduced it to 20%. And extreme poverty is around 10%. She proposed to reduce it by another 5%, but because of pandemic situation, is a little difficult. She has enhanced the lifespan, longevity of people from 62 to 73 years. This is not it's a miracle. In the area of school enrollment, that is also a great achievement, almost 100% school enrollment. And among these, this is most interesting, this prior to her, only 35% in this primary school, only 35% were female enrollment. But now 53% are female enrollment, 47 is male. It's a turnaround change. It's not by accident, it's because of targeted approaches. Now in the sanitation area, she put a lot of effort in the sanitation. No wonder we are much better off than many of the other neighboring countries. If you look at our neighbors in the area of sanitation, we have achieved tremendous success. Almost 98% has improved sanitation. No wonder our maternity death rate, our infant death rate has reduced more than 75%. And she has revolutionized the country through introduction of IT, digital Bangladesh. Now I can speak to you, so nicely. It's because Sheikh Hasina. I owe it to Sheikh Hasina. Even as early as 2008, she thought of it. And therefore, we can use this technology now. So no wonder, because of all those, you see, growth rate shoot up. Can you believe the year before last year, the growth rate of Bangladesh GDP growth rate 8.2%, highest in the whole Asia Pacific countries. And this year, even under pandemic, Asian Development Bank estimated that Bangladesh GDP growth is 5.2. While the World Bank and IMF postulated this year the GDP growth would be 0.13 to 3.58%. But in Bangladesh, we have exceeded. Whole of Asia, it is even China, the country which always has meteoric growth rate, their growth rate would be around 2%. But Bangladesh has done, some excellent situation. You see, we always used to, on the earlier days, we always used to, think about reserve, and because we are moving around 3.2 to 3.4 billion reserve, and always it was a big headache. But now, under her, leadership, our reserve is around $40 billion. We don't have to worry too much about tomorrow's imports. Things have dramatically changed. From a least developed country, Bangladesh was the largest least developed country in the world. And now we have upgraded, graduated from, lower middle income country. Hopefully, we will graduate out of least developed country 2024. This is due to Sheikh Hasina's multifarious targeted approaches. We are becoming, even we have a hope that we will be achieving the SDG that we have set for ourselves. In case of our export, in earlier days, before she took over, our export used to be around $10–11 billion, but now we have exceeded $40 billion. So the country is doing well. No wonder the total number of people who have the purchasing capacity has gone up from around 25 million to around 90 million now. People there with the per capita income. Now Bangladesh is a land of opportunity. If you produce anything, there is a market for it because there are people to buy your products. And and till today, the return on investment in Bangladesh higher vis-a-vis our neighbors. So why this happened? Because Sheikh Hasina is a visionary. Look at, as early as 2009, she had a comprehensive climate management program. And she created 2 funds to manage the climate, because climate issue is a development issue for Bangladesh, very much interlinked with our development. So not only that, she has given a roadmap for 2021 and 2041. We are talking of 2030 SDGs, but she has gone beyond and provided a roadmap for 2041 to make Bangladesh a Sonar Bangla, the dream of our father, a prosperous, stable, and powerful economy. And today, she also has outlined a new program for next 100 years. This is Delta 2100. Even in the COVID, when we were trying hard, she was always thinking of people. She said, you must ensure that no one dies of starvation. You must ensure that those poor people who are locked out, who don't have any job because of the lockdown, and you must provide essential food to their homes. And we did. This came from the day one, she was looking at it. No one the country is doing. So question is, why Sheikh Hasina is successful? Because she is successful, she knows the country and the people very well. Secondly, she takes decision on the basis of realities of the socioeconomic realities. She is very pragmatic in her approach. And she has another big goal, and that is her desire to achieve her father's dream, Sonar Bangla, a prosperous Bangladesh, where there will be no shortage of food, clothes, or shelter for people, where every individual will be guaranteed of education and healthcare, where you see the income inequality would not be very widespread. So her goal, she is targeted to achieve those goals, and we are committed to it. She has given a hope to the people, young people nowadays, because she often tells Bangladesh is a land of victors. We achieve our victory through hard work, diligent fighting. Bangladesh is a land of victors, and therefore we must win, and we will win. She has given this, her father gave one vision. Her father gave, created this country. And secondly, he gave a vision, and vision was Sonar Bangla, a prosperous, stable Bangladesh. And now, while she has done excellent job in the economic development, political development, organizing the country, making them together, united, at the same time, she has also given a vision to our younger generation. And the vision is, you are winners. You must be. You are a nation of victors, and naturally, if you try hard, you can win. I can win. We can win. This is a perception. This is an inspiration she has imbued in the new generation. She's truly a visionary leader. And we are so proud that we are observing her 74th birthday now, and we hope she will lead the country for many, many more years and achieve the Sonar Bangla, our dream of Sonar Bangla. Thank you for listening to me. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu.
Thank you, Honorable Foreign Minister Dr. K Abdul Momen MP. Friends, as I said before, we will, after our set of speakers, we would like to hear from our friends from the diplomatic missions and international organizations in Bangladesh. And the first interest has actually been shown by the Acting High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, His Excellency Bishwadip De. I would now ask His Excellency for his remarks.
Farhad, I take a little, actually listening few of them, and then I had to go to another Zoom. So if you excuse me, I will
No
just...
problem, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. K Abdul Momen, Member of Parliament, Honorable State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Shahriar Alam MP, Ambassadors and High Commissioners, representatives of diplomatic missions, Ambassador Mohammad Zamir, Dr. Shammi Ahmed, friends, Shubha Sondhya. First of all, let me thank the organizers for the invitation to this webinar. I would like to take the occasion to extend belated birthday greetings to Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on behalf of High Commission of India. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi had earlier sent birthday greetings to her as well. In his message, Prime Minister Modi lauded the socio-economic transformation that Bangladesh has achieved. Indeed, in recent years, Bangladesh has consistently grown at a rate of around 7%, and despite the global pandemic, has clocked a GDP growth rate of 5.2% in the last fiscal year. The progress achieved by Bangladesh in social indicators is also remarkable. India is a committed development partner of Bangladesh, and we believe that our mutually beneficial partnership would lead to a prosperous future for our citizens. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina are indeed scripting a Sonali Adhyay in our relationship. We look forward to building a shared prosperous future on the foundation of our shared history, culture, and our deep people-to-people linkages. Once again, thank you very much. Long live Bangladesh-India friendship.
Thank you, His Excellency, the Acting High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh. I would now like to open the floor. So I have Mr. Mustafa O. Turan, His Excellency, from the Turkish Embassy. I would now give the floor to our friend from Turkey.
Thank you very much, Honorable Foreign Minister, Honorable Minister of State, distinguished organizers and participants of this meeting. I would also like to extend our best wishes to Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on her 74th birthday. I was also honored to be present in the celebrations hosted by Dhaka North City Corporation on the exact day of 28th of September. As comprehensively elaborated by previous speakers, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has an outstanding political career full of major achievements, despite the struggles she had to go through. She has become a role model for many women, both in Bangladesh, but also around the world. Under her able leadership, Bangladesh has become a model for sustainable and inclusive development, lifted millions out of poverty, and empowered women in every field. Turkey is a close partner of Bangladesh and has been collaborating with Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's government in many fields. In the years to come, we hope to further develop these close ties and will continue to stand by Bangladesh in achieving the goals set by Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and his daughter, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Thank you. Donnabat.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your very kind words. They are much appreciated. Our next speaker will be His Excellency, Mr. Abdullah Al Hamoudi from the Embassy of the United Arab Emirates.
Honorable Chief Guest, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm very pleased to be connected with the Zoom program that as I would like to congratulate Bangladesh Awami League for arranging a discussion on the occasion of 74th birthday Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. And please convey our greetings to Prime Minister from the people of United Arab Emirates. It's indeed a very timely arrangement, and ladies and gentlemen, today it's needless to say that Bangladesh is in the marching forward and an unstoppable pace. I strongly believe that it has been possible with the leadership of Sheikh Hasina. The day is not far that the country would be developed country and would really be Shunar Bangla. Thank you all.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Do I see any hands? But I have been sent a message. I'm not sure whether you want to speak or not, but I would still like to give the floor to, so I see a hand from His Excellency Ito Naoki, the Ambassador of Japan to Bangladesh. So let's hear from His Excellency, and then we will go to our other friends who have already raised their interest. His Excellency, Mr. Ito Naoki.
Thank you very much. Rather belatedly, I really would like to say very happy birthday to Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Listening to Foreign Minister's remarks as well as State Minister's remark, I would say Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is a real champion of human security. Sheikh Hasina has been trying to build a society which is free from hunger, free from poverty. She respects human rights. She offers humanitarian assistance. So Sheikh Hasina does protect people, does provide opportunities to people, empowers people. So Sheikh Hasina is a real champion of human security. That is what I felt after having listened to Foreign Minister and State Minister's remarks. I really would like to take this opportunity to pay tribute to her leadership in elevating our partnership to a higher level, new dimension between Japan and Bangladesh. In particular, in 2014, two prime ministers exchanged their visits and they launched this initiative of Big B, a Bay of Bengal Industrial Growth Belt, which lays a foundation for achieving Vision 2041 with this infrastructure building, including Dhaka Metro, airport construction extension, as well as Matabari deep sea port. Japan will continue to provide assistance so that Bangladesh will achieve this dream of Vision 2041. And my humble wish is that when Sheikh Hasina goes to Japan in her 6th visit as Prime Minister, she will have opportunity to enjoy and appreciate a cherry blossom in the spring. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I will be mindful of forwarding that invitation to our Honorable Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, and also for your very kind words. Japan, a very time-tested and long-standing partner and friend of Bangladesh. Now I'd like to give the floor to Her Excellency Rensi Tering, the Ambassador and Head of Delegation of the European Union to Bangladesh.
Thank you. And Honorable Foreign Minister, Dr. Abdul Momen MP, Honorable State Minister, Mr. Mohammed Shahriar Alam, dear members of the Awami League, dear colleagues from the European Union and from the diplomatic community, dear friends. First of all, let me warmly thank Ambassador Zamir and Dr. Shammi Ahmed of the International Affairs Secretary for their invitation to this discussion on the leadership of Sheikh Hasina and Bangladesh's march forward. I have the honor here to speak in the name of my colleagues from the EU member states in Bangladesh, the ambassadors of Denmark, Germany, Spain, France, Italy, the Netherlands, and Sweden. And I see that many of them have joined this Zoom meeting tonight. On this auspicious occasion, the Awami League's president's 74th birthday, please allow me to first of all express to the Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina our warmest wishes and heartiest congratulations on her birthday, which she celebrated on 28th of September. And I would be very grateful if you could kindly transmit our wishes to her. We all have followed with great interest the Honorable Prime Minister's intervention at UNGA, with no less than 4 major statements. On the 26th of September at the general debate, on the 29th at the high-level event on financing for development in the era of COVID-19 and beyond, at the UN Biodiversity Summit on 30th of September, and at a high-level meeting on the 25th anniversary of the 4th World Conference on Women on the 1st of October. The Prime Minister expressed some of the major priorities and values that Bangladesh is defending on the international scene. And Bangladesh and the EU, its first trading partner, and also the destination of more than 50% of all Bangladeshi export, fully share these values and priorities. One of those values is our common faith in multilateralism and in the UN system. As a long-standing friend of Bangladesh, let me also highlight the impressive generosity the Bangladeshi people have shown in hosting well over 1 million Rohingya. This crisis should not become a forgotten one and needs to stay firmly on the international agenda until a durable and sustainable solution is found, which can only lie in Myanmar. And in this context, I'm pleased to announce that the EU, together with the other co-hosts, US, UK, and UNHCR, will be hosting on the 22nd of October an international conference entitled Sustaining Support for the Rohingya Refugee Response. And this event aims to underscore our continued commitment to the humanitarian response and solutions for the Rohingya and host communities in Bangladesh. The conference will also promote a regional focus on these issues and a more equitable distribution of efforts in the humanitarian response. So let me conclude here and once again reiterate and wish to Honorable Prime Minister our warmest wishes and many healthy and good years ahead. And thank you for your attention. Dhonnobad.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your very kind words and for reiterating your commitment to helping Bangladesh resolve the Rohingya crisis with the help of our other international friends and partners. I would now like to go for her brief remarks to Her Excellency Mia Seppo, the resident coordinator of the United Nations to Bangladesh and a personal friend, if we may add. Mia.
Thank you very much for giving me the floor. Honorable Minister, Honorable State Minister, Excellencies, I want to recognize the work well done by the organizers of this event and thank you for bringing us together. I think I want to reflect on the fact that anyone who meets the Honorable Prime Minister or has an opportunity to listen to her will be struck by her incredibly deep knowledge of Bangladesh. She knows every village, she knows most parts of the country with a care and an insight which is absolutely unique. The State Minister said that Bangladesh is not an easy country to run, and I think many of us recognize that, and many of us are amazed by the Honorable Prime Minister's tireless efforts to move the country forward. I really believe in terms of being a role model, and this is not just, I would say, for young women and girls, but a role model for incredible hard work, discipline, and determination. The Ambassador of EU already covered very extensively the key points about the Honorable Prime Minister's continued strong support to multilateralism. I want to note that there's probably at this point in time few heads of government, heads of state, and probably only the Honorable Prime Minister who has attended as a woman leader as many UN General Assemblies as she has. And I hope at some point there will be an opportunity to actually hear from her how the UN has evolved throughout the many events, many UNGAs that she has attended, in terms of what are the issues being discussed and debated, how is the discourse being influenced by various countries, and a much more diverse set of players that we see in the world today, and indeed the rising middle powers such as Bangladesh. Renche already kindly referred to all the speeches that the Honorable Prime Minister made during this UNGA, so I will not repeat those. I just want to note that in addition to putting forward valuable initiatives, key support to UN reform, the Prime Minister obviously is also known for the incredibly gruesome schedules he usually has during UNGA through meetings with a number of bilaterals and UN leaders, something of course that this exceptional virtual UNGA did not have. So on behalf of the UN family, please convey our best wishes to the Honorable Prime Minister for continued good health and happiness, as well as success in her pursuit of Sonar Bangla. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We will be delighted to pass on the messages of wishes that you all have given to our Honorable Prime Minister and Awami League President Sheikh Hasina. Before we go to Ambassador Mohammed Zamir for his concluding remarks of today's program, I would like to briefly give the floor to a very experienced diplomat from Bangladesh, Mohammed Abdul Hannan. Ambassador Hannan, for your brief remarks.
Thank you. I'm
dear friends, I don't think we have him connected with us at this moment. He expressed his interest to speak, but it appears that he's no longer connected with us. So I would now like to give the floor to the chairman of the International Affairs Subcommittee of Bangladesh and a very experienced diplomat himself, Ambassador Mohammed Zamir, for today's concluding remarks.
Thank you very much. Honored guests, honored diplomats, honored representatives from different international organizations. We have also had the great honor of having the European Union head of delegation and also the resident coordinator of the UNDP. And I notice here Democracy International. And I must at this point mention that all of you came and participated, and that itself was a great honor. For this, I must thank the great efforts undertaken by the secretary of our subcommittee, Dr. Shammi Ahmed. She has worked very hard, and Barrister Farhad. And of course, we have had the great honor of having our Foreign Minister and Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. Now, as far as I feel, Sheikh Hasina, during her 17th presentation in the UN General Assembly session, she drew the attention of the rest of the world. And here I would like to mention that we have with us friends from Democratic People's Republic of Korea. We have also our great friend from India, and Italy and Denmark and Japan and Switzerland, all of you, and Turkey. I'm not mentioning all the names, but France. It is very important that all of you came forward and extended your interactive engagement and recognition of the difficulties which Bangladesh has had to undertake and which Sheikh Hasina, as the leader of Bangladesh, has been able to take forward and overcome the challenges. I have had the great honor, of working with Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, at that time his chef de cabinet. And later on, I must tell you that it has been a great wonder watching how our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, has been able to take the country forward despite so many challenges. For example, many ask me, what would you really thank her for? But I always tell them that she introduced private sector television network, because she said, I do not have faith and belief in whatever the BTV says, because that's a government channel. I want the people from outside the government to be able to criticize the government. Now that's a fantastic thing to happen, because that promotes transparency and that promotes accountability. She is the one person, with the help of India, we managed to solve the problem of exchange of the land boundary and the enclaves, and also the maritime boundary. And we have seen how we have moved forward in terms of our bilateral relationship. We have also seen what is happening in the case of Bangladesh and our relationship with many other countries, including China, including Japan, and many others. Now, if I may say so, we, through our efforts in obtaining the required results in the MDGs, have now moved to the SDGs, and through that, we are again moving forward, again through her very clear efforts. Now, we have seen how, despite so many difficulties, we have managed to tackle the COVID pandemic, how we have taken on the terrible environmental damages brought in by flooding, which we have heard of. And we have also seen how we had this terrible cyclone. And despite that, we have been able to move forward. And we have had socio-economic development, we have had freedom of information, that's through the Right to Information Act, and that brings about accountability. We have moved forward in terms of healthcare, in digitalization, in education, in agriculture, in pisciculture, and renewable energy. And we have tried to solve the migrant population's problems and the literacy rate, the women empowerment. We have heard, all of us, so many things, so many aspects. And in this context, may I say that all of this has been possible due to the very proactive engagement and combined support we have received from all of you from abroad, because this is one way of moving forward. I remember Bangabandhu once said, I was going with him at that time for the meeting of the OIC summit, which was being held in 1974, February, in Lahore. And I had the great honor at that time of becoming a close friend from then onwards with our late Amir Sheikh Sabah of Kuwait. He was here in Dhaka to arrange for us to go to Lahore. And from then onwards, later on, I also was with him in 2 or 3 other meetings. But it is unbelievable how Sheikh Hasina has been following the footsteps of her father. And despite difficulties, she has moved forward. We have seen how, while we were celebrating the 100th birth anniversary of our father of our nation, how she said, well, although we would have liked to have so many open celebrations, but I do not want people to fall victims of the pandemic. So we'll do it on a virtual basis. And here I must say, Barrister Farhad in particular has done a lot of good hard work. I congratulate you, Farhad, for what you have done. And I am very, very grateful to all of you for taking the time off, despite your very difficult schedule. I have not had the honor of meeting all of the new ambassadors, but I have had the pleasure of meeting some of them, because I'm also an elected commissioner of the OIC Independent Human Rights Commission from Asia. And I look forward one day to be able to meet all of you when the pandemic has moved away from us. And may I wish all of you a very happy journey and good health. And thanks again for being with us. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Ambassador Mohammed Zamir, Chairman of the International Affairs Subcommittee of Bangladesh Awami League, for his closing remarks. I would also like to thank the Honorable Foreign Minister, Dr. K Abdul Momen MP, the Honorable State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Mohammad Shahriar Alam MP, the International Affairs Secretary of Bangladesh Awami League, Dr. Shammi Ahmed, and our friends from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, Denmark, Turkey, from the organization Democracy International, from the European Union, Japan, Morocco, United Arab Emirates, the Netherlands, Palestine, India, United Nations, Italy, and also from Vietnam and the International Rice Research Institute. We greatly appreciate all of you for speaking on our Prime Minister today and also for attending this special webinar. As our chairman has very rightly pointed out, you have difficult schedules and we greatly appreciate that you could make some time for us today. We hope that we will continue to receive your friendship and support in the coming days. We are going through a global pandemic which is shaking up the economic and social factors of not just Bangladesh, but across numerous countries. And more than ever, we need internationalism and international partnership and international friendship to thrive in these difficult times. Without taking any much more of your time, I would like to thank you and conclude today's special webinar on the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, now only President Sheikh Hasina. And on behalf of the International Affairs Subcommittee and the Honorable Prime Minister, now only President Sheikh Hasina, thank you once again. We bid you good health